go. This is the place. I can feel the power of these relics deep in me bones.
Rezan was a powerful Loa. Perhaps you will make a worthy sacrifice for Zul.
you apart! You die with me! Gonna build me again.
Voltal, in pieces again? No matter. I can rebuild you. But when you die, there will be no coming back.
Servants of Yasma are not welcome here! Taldazar's power flows through me! You do not belong here! Taldazar's power flows through me! You do not belong here! Taldazar's power flows through me! Corruption be purified!
My thanks for killing the priestess. You have only succeeded in strengthening my hold on the temple. Impressive. You made it farther than I thought. But I will still be drinking your blood. The Tsar will awaken soon. A truth that lives to see it. I will tear your soul apart.
Today, I want to give you a step-by-step guide for 35mm film photography. I'm going to cover everything from choosing the right camera, loading the film, and shooting. If you've already got a camera and are just looking for a specific piece of information, feel free to skip through the different chapters of this video. Let's begin. Before even getting into cameras and films, I think it's a good idea for you to get a basic understanding of what film photography is and how it works. Put very simply, this here is film, and it's basically just plastic with a magical mix of chemicals on it that is sensitive to light. When the roll of film is inside the camera, it is in complete darkness. Every time you shoot a photo, you are essentially letting in light through your lens, and that then hits the film. That light sort of burns the chemicals that are on the film in a way that shapes and colors are reflected on the material. So after developing, you can then look at your photos on the film and see how the material was burnt by the light. That is more or less how film photography works. So next, it's time to get a camera. Maybe you've already got a camera passed down to you from your parents or grandparents. This here is my dad's old Pentax K1000, which he bought back in the 80s and then carried around the world with him on his trips. If you don't have a film camera yet, you should know about the 3 main types of film cameras so that you can choose the one that best suits you. Basically, you have a choice between an SLR, a rangefinder, and a point and shoot. Let's briefly go over each one. An SLR camera gives you the option to change lenses and shoot manually. What you see when looking through the viewfinder is very close to the actual image, thanks to the internal mirror mechanism. A rangefinder camera, on the other hand, has a different type of viewfinder, which in my opinion is the most significant difference. What you see in the viewfinder of a rangefinder is not exactly what you get. Instead, you have frame lines which can assist you when composing. This can be especially tricky when you decide to shoot with longer focal lengths, seeing as the image through the viewfinder will not change, whereas the SLR camera will show you the view through the lens. Something worth mentioning when it comes to rangefinders is that not all of them allow you to change your lens, and when it is possible, that usually means the camera is more expensive. However, if you like a compact, small size, rangefinders can usually offer you a smaller setup than SLRs. Lastly, point-and-shoot cameras are, as the name suggests, automatic cameras that only require you to point the camera and shoot the photo. You don't need to set the exposure yourself, and often you don't need to focus, but this depends on the camera. This Minolta is fully automatic. The exposure, the focusing, even the film advancing, everything. This Olympus XA3, however, only exposes automatically. The focus, you have 3 different settings here that you can choose from, and the film advancing is with this wheel here. So these are the 3 types of cameras that you'll mostly come across, and it fully depends on you and your situation which type of camera you should choose. Here are 2 examples. You're interested in photography and even practice it digitally already, but now you want to get into film photography. You value precision when composing and you want to be able to freely change lenses anytime. In that case, an SLR is probably the best fit for you. But let's say you're more interested in easily capturing moments in your everyday life or while traveling, and the moment and the emotions are more important to you. Then maybe a point and shoot is better for you, because with an SLR you're going to want to take your time when shooting. One more thing to consider is the following. SLRs and many rangefinders are fully mechanical cameras, whereas I believe most point-and-shoot cameras are electronic. This means that the mechanical cameras do not require a battery to shoot, whereas for point-and-shoot cameras you're going to have to find the right battery for the camera. Alright, so with this basic understanding of the cameras, it is now time to get one. I personally always do this in private second-hand markets. So here in Austria, I go to a website where people sell their stuff they don't need anymore, and I've often come across great deals on there. However, one drawback with this method is that you can never be sure that the camera actually works. Some people just found the camera in their granddad's attic and don't know themselves whether it works or not. So this camera, for example, I got from that kind of a person, and unfortunately there seems to be some problem with the shutter or so, and it is not working. At least I haven't been able to use it so far. An alternative and safer way to buy your film camera is at a professional camera shop where they sell old second-hand film cameras. The experts in the shop have tested the camera and know that it works, so that's a bit of certainty for you. However, what is also certain is that this is going to be more expensive, obviously, seeing as it has been checked by professionals. Anyway, whichever way you get your camera, it's then time to understand it. If you've never held a film camera before, it might seem a bit overwhelming at first sight. In this video, I can't really explain the workings of a camera very well because there are just so many different types of cameras, each with variations in the way they work. Here's a very broad breakdown of the basic things that will apply to almost all cameras. For further information, you can usually find something on your specific camera on YouTube, but that of course depends on its popularity. So for the broad example, I'm going to show you my Pentax K1000. This button is the shutter to shoot a photo. But before you can shoot a photo, you need to advance the film. To do that, you pull this lever. So when I pull this, the film is pulled over sideways to allow a new empty frame to be exposed. Once it's in position, the lever will no longer go further and the camera will now allow you to press the shutter. This knob is like on digital cameras, simply the shutter speed. On the Pentax, you can pull up this outside ring and turn it to change the ISO rating. I'll explain what you need this for later. This here is the counter, which tells you how many shots you've shot, so that you know how many you have left on the roll. This thing over here is a foldable lever and a knob to wind the film back into its canister after shooting the whole roll. Many SLRs also use this to open the back of the camera, so you simply pull this up and the back will pop open. These were all things that you'll probably find on all SLRs, but for further detail you have to look on YouTube or elsewhere online. Now that you understand the basics of your camera, it's time to get a roll of film. Here again, you have a wonderful choice of all sorts of films which differ in characteristics such as color and contrast. One thing you must be careful of is that you buy the right format. This video is specifically for 35mm film, so the cameras I've shown you are also all 35mm cameras, which is the most common. However, many photographers also like to shoot medium format, which is simply a bigger size of film. So when buying film, you just want to make sure that you're buying 35mm film, not 120 or something, because that won't fit into your 35mm camera. To check the format, you just need to read the packaging and it'll be written on there somewhere. When choosing your film, there are basically two variables that you need to consider. Firstly, what style do you want? And secondly, what price are you willing to pay? Yeah, film photography nowadays has become very expensive. I recently just bought my first roll of portrait and this here cost me 24 euros. For a beginner, I would recommend going with Kodak Gold 200, which is a cheapish color film so that you don't spend too much money on film that might suffer from the many mistakes that happen when starting out. For black and white, I can recommend Agfa APX 400, which is also quite affordable. In fact, I think it's the cheapest film I've found so far.
We're excited to share something new at B&H. Whether you're in New York City, across the US, or around the world, we always strive to deliver that magical in-store experience to everybody online. Now, we are able to bring that to you live, even without you having to put your shoes on.
Smaller, it's half the price, but in terms of sharpness and speed, it's just about the same.
With our new live video chat, you get that incomparable face-to-face interaction with our experts and a real-time view of our endless list of products here at the B&H Superstore. Our store is filled with experts with endless knowledge of all things cameras, tripods, lenses, and more. And now they're ready to help you virtually, face-to-face. And you can ask things like, what lens is better for my camera?
They have the 12 to 24mm G Master lens.
Or should I use a boom or a lavalier?
If you're moving around, lavalier mic would be the best.
Or should I use a softbox or umbrella?
The umbrella will spread the light.
Or what camera monitor should